What if controlling your thoughts isn't about willpower, but about warfare? The Bible reveals that your mind is literally a battlefield, and most Christians are showing up to fight completely unarmed. Today, you're getting the weapons you need to win. The moment you became a believer, you entered into spiritual warfare, and the primary battlefield isn't out there. It's between your ears. Paul wasn't speaking metaphorically when he talked about strongholds and taking thoughts captive. Here's what most Christians get wrong about thought control. They try to fight thoughts with more thoughts. They try to think their way out of thinking. It's like trying to put out a fire with gasoline. The Bible gives us a completely different approach. 2 Corinthians 10 verses 4-5 says, "We don't fight with fleshly weapons, but with divine weapons that demolish strongholds. We take every thought captive to make it obedient to Christ." Notice it doesn't say, "Try really hard not to think bad thoughts." It says, "Take them captive," like arresting a criminal. Think about David facing Goliath. He didn't try to outmuscle the giant. He used the right weapon, a simple stone and God's power. Your giant thoughts need the same treatment. When anxiety whispers, "What if everything goes wrong?" you don't negotiate with it. You arrest it and replace it with Philippians 4 verse 19. God will supply all your needs. But here's where it gets practical. The Bible gives us a 3-step process for winning the mental battle. First, recognize the thought. Most of us let thoughts run wild without even noticing them. Start paying attention. When fear, doubt, or condemnation tries to set up camp in your mind, catch it early. Second, reject the lie. Isaiah 55:8 reminds us that God's thoughts aren't our thoughts. If a thought doesn't line up with God's character and promises, it's not from Him. Slam the door on it. You have that authority as a believer. Third, replace with truth. This is where most people stop at step 2 and wonder why the thoughts come back. Nature hates a vacuum. Romans 12 verse 2 tells us to be transformed by renewing our minds. Fill that mental space with God's Word. Let me give you a real example. You just lost your job, and immediately your mind floods with panic thoughts. How will I pay rent? What if I can't find another job? I'm such a failure. The old you would spiral into anxiety for days. The new you catches these thoughts red-handed. You recognize them as fear-based lies. Reject them by declaring, "My God supplies all my needs according to His riches in glory," from Philippians 4:19. Then replace the mental chaos by meditating on how God has never failed to provide for you before. Within minutes, panic transforms into peace. The Apostle Paul mastered this. In prison, beaten, shipwrecked, he could have had a mental breakdown. Instead, he wrote letters full of joy and peace. How? He practiced what he preached. When thoughts of despair came knocking, he took them captive and focused on Christ. Here's the game changer most believers miss. Your emotions follow your thoughts, not the other way around. You don't need to feel different to think different. You need to think different to feel different. When you control your thought life biblically, your emotions start lining up. Proverbs 23 verse 7 says, "As a man thinks in his heart, so he is." Your thoughts are shaping your reality every single day. Negative, fearful, doubtful thoughts create a negative, fearful, doubtful life. But thoughts aligned with God's truth create a life that reflects His goodness. This isn't positive thinking, it's biblical thinking. There's a huge difference. Positive thinking says, "I'm amazing." Biblical thinking says, "I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me." One is self-focused, the other is God-focused. Here's the truth that will set you free. You don't have to be a victim of your own thoughts anymore. God has given you everything you need to win this battle. Every single thought that tries to drag you down, steal your peace, or make you doubt God's goodness can be defeated with His Word. But here's what separates those who just watch videos from those who actually transform their lives. Application. Knowledge without action is just entertainment. So right now, I want you to identify one recurring negative thought pattern in your life. Maybe it's worry about money, fear of the future, or replaying past mistakes. Got it? Now find one Bible verse that directly contradicts that lie. Write it down, put it on your phone, memorize it. Because the next time that thought tries to take you captive, you're going to take it captive instead. Your mind is too valuable to let the enemy use it as his playground. God has called you to have the mind of Christ, and that means thinking like He thinks. full of hope, peace, and victory. The battle for your mind isn't just winnable, it's already won through Christ. Drop a comment below and tell me, what's one Bible verse you're going to use to take control of your thoughts? Share